Hi guys, welcome to your library at home. It's me, Elda. Thanks for watching tonight. We're just a tiny bit early, but I am super excited about tonight's project. We are making these really awesome chunky knit blankets. And I've had a lot of fun learning about how to make these blankets. So I'm really excited for you guys to join, and hopefully you guys are all going to try to make a really nice warm blanket because here it's going to get cold out. So I think it's probably 7 o'clock. We are going to get started. So hi guys, welcome to your library at home. It's me, Elda. Thanks for watching tonight. We are going to make chunky knit blankets. So I wanted to tell you last week or last time that I was live, hi Maureen, thanks for watching. When we made vision boards, I was telling you guys I was really excited because this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. Same with chunky knit blankets. I keep seeing these great big huge chunky knit blankets like on Pinterest, YouTube, and then I see these great big, hi Nancy, thanks for watching. And I always see these people holding up their really big blankets and then there's super jumbo balls of yarn. Look at how big that is. So I'm really excited to do this project and share with you guys what I have learned along the way. So I'm gonna go ahead right away and turn my camera down because I think this will be better. Hey Larry, thanks for watching. I think this will be better if you guys can actually see what we're doing. Hi Natalie, thanks for watching. So I'm gonna turn the camera down now so you guys can just see what we've got going on here. So this is the blanket that I am making. And first thing I want to talk to you guys about is yarn. So there's a couple different types of yarn that you can use to make these blankets. Hi Denise. I have this chenille yarn, which is super, super soft. It feels like, I remember when I had one of my babies and somebody had given me a blanket and it felt like powdered sugar. Hi Sharon, do you remember the powdered sugar baby blankets? It feels like it's super soft. It reminds me of a Sherpa hoodie right now. This is actually my favorite to make it with, and this is what I would suggest if you wanted to start out with. So this is your chenille yarn, which is a fraction of the cost of the super jumbo wool yarn. And I haven't tried this one. We're gonna try this tonight if we have time. But I haven't tried this one because if you can see, it's very fibery. So I don't think this would be the best one to start with. It's also quite a bit more than the chenille. So I feel like this would be kind of frustrating until you really get the hang of what you're doing. Although this is a very, very easy project. So here's your wool yarn. Then we have this yarn, which is an acrylic blend. This is what I made my first attempt with. And this yarn it makes a really thick, super warm blanket, but it's a little tricky because this one too, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this one also is kind of fibery. So this is what I'm going to make my throw out of. And I have made, I don't know if you guys can see this. This is like, I can't get it all on here, but this is my jumbo blanket that I'm making. So my suggestion, if you're gonna try this, is to start out with the chenille yarn. So that is our yarns. If you are going to make a blanket, you're gonna need about 7 skeins of yarn. Now this chenille yarn is actually just to give you an idea, it's an 8-ounce skein of yarn. So 7 of these will make a 50 by 60 blanket, which is a really nice size blanket. It probably would fit on a twin size bed, but it's a great blanket if you want to cozy up, read a book on the couch. If you want to make a throw, which would be about 30 to 50 inches, you're going to need 4 skeins. So here is, I just want to give you an idea. Here's my blanket. You can't even see. There's not enough room to show you. So here's my blanket. And a couple things that I want to share with you before we get started. A few things that you want to pay attention to. When you are when you're working through your blanket and you have to add knots on, because I don't know if we'll get to this, you literally are just going to tie two pieces, one skein to the other. Tie it super, super tight. I left this one on here so I can show you. And once you've got your yarn, you're not really tight, you just want to trim it. Oh, these are not going to be good scissors. All of my scissors get used up at my house. You want to trim it really close to your knot. And then it just kind of disappears in your blanket. You can't even tell that there was a knot there. You'll have a couple loose ones fall off at first, but then it'll stop. You just have to get your knot really. Hi, Lucy. Thanks for watching. It is so warm. So look, you just want to pull these out, tie your knot really tight, and you are good to go. And it just kind of disappears in your blanket. The other thing I want to show you is, and we'll get to this when I start showing you how to knit, but I wanted to show you the edges. Every time we go to the end of the row, we're going to skip a loop, but I'll explain that to you when we get there. But your edges, if you guys can see, it creates this really nice braided edge. Keep that in mind when I start showing you. That's why we skip a loop on the end. The other thing that I want to point out to you guys that is really, really important that I learned the hard way is when you are going through and knitting, you really want to pay attention to all your loops, these loops on the end. Because if you skip one, guess what? You have to start all over. Like I skipped one here, and trust me, this is probably gonna happen. It is not the end of the world. I'll show you how to this is a great project because if you make a mistake, you can just start all over again. There is no wasted material. So this is not good. Your blanket will completely unravel. So my bad on this one. Okay, so we'll get back to this blanket in a second, but I'm gonna show you how to get started. And I'm gonna use this gray yarn, so hopefully you guys can see it. So the first thing you wanna do is you wanna get like a tail of about maybe 8 inches. And you're just gonna make a loop like this. And you are going to literally wrap it around and make a slip knot. I like my loops on the end to be a little bit bigger than the blanket. So probably about 2 inches. And then you just wanna pull really tight and create a knot. So there's your first stitch. Then you're just gonna literally take your yarn, this is called your working yarn, take your working yarn and just pull it through. And you're basically gonna create a chain. But you also wanna concentrate and think about how many stitches you want, because this is gonna determine how wide your blanket is. So my big, huge blanket, which is 60 inches wide, is actually 30 loops. So how many loops you have is probably about, your blanket's gonna be twice as wide. So we're gonna count. On this one, we'll just go with 8. So we're gonna go 1, loop it through 2, 3, 4, and you can see the chain starting to happen. 5. Can you guys see the loop? I hope you can. 6, 7, 8. Let's go 10, just so you get the idea. 9 and 10. Now remember, that's your number, so 10 now. You're gonna have to do some counting until you get the hang of it. So this is a chain, this is our first row. This is what's gonna create that end. So if you look at this, you can actually see the openings right there. This is where you want to pull your yarn back through. So we're gonna lay it back down. We're gonna skip our first loop right here. We're gonna go to the second opening. So now I'm gonna stitch 9 across because I'm skipping this one. So now I wanna count 9. 1, 2, and then these, I like to make a little bit shorter. And I'll show you on this blanket the difference between going skinny and fat. So you kind of just want to pay attention. I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So remember, I skipped 1, so I really have 10. And then just go ahead and pull up, find all your loops. This is probably the trickiest row you're going to do right here, the first one. So make sure you've got all those. You don't want to skip them. Okay, so now I've got my 10. I'm skipping this one, and I'm going to this one. So just pull through. This is just all you do. This is how you're knitting. It doesn't look like anything, but it gets really fun after you've got about 3 rows. See, this one was hidden in there. This yarn I think is harder. I'm going to show you on the chenille in a second. So you just want to make sure you have them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Now we're going to skip that, and you want to just keep going across. Oop, I pulled mine through. You just want to keep going across. I just want to get like 2 more so you can see how the row gets created. So I've skipped my end one. If you guys can see, this is so chunky. It's really kind of hard to get your working yarn through. It's not hard, it's just easy to lose them. And look, I wasn't counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The trick is just try to keep these the same size. 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me unroll my ball. And 10. So you just keep going back and forth on this. Now I want to go through. As you can see now, it's starting to create the blanket. Just pull them up. Keep going. We'll do one more. So I don't know if you guys can see this. So now here's my end. It's created like this really cool braided edge. Let's go one more. Skip. Oh, we're over here. Find your end. Skip it. And just keep going. Now I'm going to make these a little bigger because I want to show you what happens when they're bigger. So I'm going to make these ones about 2 inches. When you go with bigger loops, then obviously you have bigger, your weaves are bigger. I personally like it a little tighter because I don't like my fingers to go through blankets, but actually, see, I have it make them about 2 inches. My next row, I'm going to try to make them bigger for you. We're gonna go 1 and we're gonna go really big on this one. So if you guys see how quick and easy this is once you get started. Oops, you don't wanna go that big. This is a great project if you feel like doing some binge watching. I just laid it across my lap, put on a movie, and before I knew it, I had like half my blanket done. So. Now, I always just go ahead, go back through, pull them up, kind of flatten everything. This is where you want to count, check, make sure you haven't skipped any. Let's see if we still have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, we'll go 1 more row because you guys will then be able to see how this is turning into a blanket now. It doesn't take long, and it's really rewarding because you get quick results, especially if you go with big loops. See, I keep making mine smaller. Trying to make them big for you guys, but I think I've gotten used to making smaller loops. Okay, so here is the start of our blanket. You guys can see that? Hi, Melissa, thanks for watching. Okay, so this is where you just flatten it, you put all your loops up, kind of tug on it, take a look at it. This is turning out really awesome. This is super thick. But if you guys can see, I can get my hands through there. In the beginning, it's a lot tighter right here, and the bigger loops. Okay, so that's how you start. That's how you cast on. Let's start your first row. So we're gonna talk about this one really quickly. I'm gonna try to show you. In the beginning, I was making my loops, let me flip this over, really big. These were like 2-inch loops. You guys can see there, this is more of like it would be a good, maybe summery blanket. And then I didn't really like them that tight, or that loose, so then I started making them really tight. You guys can see that there's not really, I mean, I can still poke my holes through, but it's super, super tight here. So I'm gonna show you guys what you're gonna do if you do what I did and you skip a loop. Not the end of the world, this is really easy. You just go through and you pull these out. You keep pulling. It's a little painful, not literally painful, but because I was like, man, I had this almost done, and then I found it. So it's really important you keep going back through and you just check your loops. And these just come out really easy. You just keep taking them out. until you've gotten to your spot. Let's see if we can do this fast, because I was going to show you how to finish. I want to finish my blanket. It's really fun when you're doing this too, because as your blanket starts to grow, you have this big blanket now sitting on your lap. This would be also a fun project if you wanted to make a big one. I was thinking this is a fun 2-person project. Hi, Liz. Thanks for watching. Okay, so let's see if we've gotten close to taking it all out. Let's see how far we are. I think I had 3 rows. Oh, it's right there. One more row. One more row and my blanket is fixed. Okay, so we're just gonna keep taking this out. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing, but I am just literally pulling my working yarn through my loop. So after I get all of this out and I find my unattached loop, I'm gonna show you guys how to end your blanket. And then we'll go through and check it. Okay, so a couple more. You guys see it's super easy. Just be sure to count your loops as you're going. Check your blanket as you go along for any missing loops, because you want to catch them early on. Not like me, 4 rows into it. Okay, so I now have, I'm just gonna get it all organized. Here's all my yarn. See how much I just pulled out? Okay, so try to find, oh, I didn't go all the way, I guess. All right, here we go. Here is the problem, child. Okay, so now we're gonna finish our blanket. So what you're gonna do, basically the same thing you did before. You're gonna take 2 loops and you're going to take your 3rd one and pull it through. And you're gonna go to your 2nd one, take your 3rd one and pull it through. Okay, wait, hold on. I'm gonna start this over because we're doing this backwards, so hopefully you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, you start with your end one. I've gotta go through because look at this one is not all the way through. Okay. So, you're going to take your working yarn, pull it through, create a loop on your first 2 stitches. So 2 stitches, working yarn, pull it through. Now you've got a new stitch, you're gonna grab your 2nd stitch, working yarn, pull it through. You're gonna grab your 3rd stitch, working yarn, and pull it through. As you can see, now I'm creating a braided edge, just like the sides. So, also too here, let's make sure we don't skip any. So you're just gonna keep picking up a stitch along the edge and pull your working yarn through. Let's see. Now remember, I told you my blanket has 30 stitches. Sorry guys, you gotta watch me do 30 to get to the end. Pull through. It goes pretty fast though. I'm coming up on a piece of my yarn that was tied together right here, and look at, you can't even see the knot. So that's not that big of a deal. Pull through, grab, pull through. We're gonna go, try to go fast. We're almost done. Almost at the end here, and then we will have a finished blanket. So you just keep grabbing. You always wanna grab 2, working yarn through, 2, working yarn through, 2, pull your working yarn through. Almost done. So like I said, I would suggest if you guys want to try this, the other thing I was going to tell you too is I did a lot of shopping around for yarn because this yarn is kind of expensive. I mean, it's not that expensive. If you look, like I have noticed, Michael's, Joann, even Walmart, they all have some great yarn that has been on sale lately. So if you're an online shopper and you want to check it out and you see it, grab it pretty quickly, because I've seen some, like I just saw some today that was, it was the acrylic-y stuff like this, but it was $3 a skein. So that's great price for yarn. Okay, we are almost done, just a couple more. Pull through, through. And when we get to the end, we are literally just going to tie a knot and weave it through. But we're gonna double check to make sure we didn't skip any loops. Hopefully I'm doing this upside down too, but it's all the same. It's a great thing, it doesn't matter, you can flip your blanket over, go the other direction. Okay, we are now at the end. We're going to pull it through. Now we're just going to take this. I'm gonna cut about 8 inches off. I'm going to tie a knot right here, really tight, because I don't want my chenille to pull apart, the fibers to come off. Wish I had better scissors. This is a little complicated with these scissors. So then you just want to trim that. And what you want to do now, pull this through. And create a knot. See that? So now my end's done. And now we're just going to work this through. Pull it right through your end of your blanket. Kind of weave it through. And I will show you, now you have this really cool, almost braided edge on here. We'll go all the way until we hide our knot. One more. There you go. And we now have a completed edge. You guys see that? So here is all the way around. Here's my corners. Here's my chain that I started with on first. So I want to check this, make sure that I have no missing loops, because now's the time to find it. And we look good, guys. I'm super excited about this. And there's your edge. So here you have a finished blanket. Now, like I said, this one's pretty big. Thanks for sticking out, finishing me the edge with me. This one's about 50-60. This one I used 7 skeins of yarn. Actually, it's probably 6 now because I had to take one out because of that missing loop. 7 skeins of yarn. Mine does have some skinny and some fat loops because I wanted you guys to see the difference between, this is probably a 2-inch loop. See how I can pull it apart? This one is much closer. So here's my finished product. I am very excited about it. And I hope that you guys try to make one of these because they are super, super fun, super warm. I would say probably take you about 5 hours to finish this off. And like I said, when you're gonna tie your, I'm gonna show you guys this. Here's another one. Pull these super, super tight. I left all mine on so I can show you, but get better scissors than I have, and you just wanna trim really close and it will just go away. Really, it just disappears into your blanket. So there you go. Thanks for watching. This is all right, Heike, I can't wait to see your finished product. Make sure you send us in a picture. You're gonna have fun. It's a really fun project. Like I said, great Netflix binge watching project. Even a good project if you wanted to do 2 people. Somebody can sit at one end, you loop to them and they pick it up. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye, thanks for watching.